Hello, buddy. I'm here with my new friend Robert, and he's been kind enough to agree to tell us his story and let me interview him. So Robert, you were telling me a little bit that you've been here in the Philippines for a while, but where were you before that? Where did you, where in the States did you live, or where are you from?
I'm from Los Angeles, basically Los Angeles, California.
Okay.
There's a valley north of Los Angeles, California that's still Los Angeles City.
Yeah.
And so they're called the San Fernando Valley.
Oh, yeah.
And I grew up in, oh, you know that one? Like
Well,
Reseda?
I lived in San Diego for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I grew up mostly in Reseda. And then I joined the Navy. So I was in the Navy for like 5 years. And when I was in the Navy, you know, I went to Subic and Clark and all that. So I kind of got an introduction to the Philippines.
Now, what year was it approximately when you joined the Navy?
In 1980, 80 to 85.
Okay.
I was on an aircraft carrier, Constellation.
Wow. And what was your specialty?
I was,
a rate, is it called rating, right?
yeah, my rate was IC-man, interior communications electrician. It's kind of a cross between electrician and electronic technician, you know, kind of the thing.
I've met a lot of very successful men here in the Philippines, actually here in the Dumaguete, Valencia area, who are former electricians.
Yeah.
Really?
I was talking to one guy, what is it, Rick Shaw, I don't know if you've seen that thing. And
no.
we were talking about something, he goes, and I go, I was an electrician. He goes, I'm an electrician too. You know?
Yeah, the guy that built Dulce Vita, electrician from America. The guy that built Big Rock, electrician from Germany.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's several of them I met, you know. Must be smart to be an electrician.
And we all have the conversation, how come there's no grounds here? You know?
Yeah, I used to be a stage manager in theater, and sometimes I used to actually pull the ground off if I couldn't plug it in the right place, you know.
Yeah, just take it off.
There's nothing, it doesn't connect to anything. It's just a little piece of metal in the cord there.
Yeah, it connects to the case of a lot of appliances and stuff like that to try to protect you if a hot wire hits the case. You know? So like your refrigerator has a steel surrounding on the outside.
Yeah.
So if it could become energized, and then when you grab it, bzz, you know.
I got shot. I used to have a roller skating rink. I had a bunch of video games, basically pinball machines all lined up against the wall, and I was replacing an outlet. I can do that, and I'm not a guy that can fix stuff. And so I turn off the breaker, and I'm going to work on to replace the socket, you know, and I get shocked. I said, how can I get shocked? The power's off. And somebody said, you got residual power.
Residual.
Yeah, what the hell is that? Residual power. Like there's power left over in the line. I got shocked, so
right.
I stay away from electricity. So in California, did you go to university there or high school?
I went to I went to like grade school and high school and college. I went to I started working when I was 15, so I did a lot of college classes at night for electricity and stuff like that.
Now, when you went to the military, were you an officer because you had a college degree, or were you?
Oh no, I don't have a college degree.
Okay,
I just take like a bunch of electronic classes.
Now, how did you like being in the Navy? Did you realize that once you were in there that you didn't want to make a career out of it, or it was just a good 5 years, or what was your?
No, it sucked. It sucked. Like at first, like the first 2 years was good, and then I started getting stripes. And I realized that things didn't get better once you got stripes. So like, I still have bosses, bossing me around. They're just higher up, Jeez, this is crummy. And I had guys working for me. And, at the time I'm like, God, these guys working for me are so stupid.
And so you went to the Philippines, though, on an aircraft carrier?
Yeah.
That must have been cool.
We reported in Subic a lot. I did 2 Westpacks. Where we went from the United States and patrolled the Indian Ocean. Oh. And then we come back through the Malacca Straits, and we'd hit the Philippines on the way there, on the way back, And then when I got out of the Navy, when it was time for me to be discharged, we was in the Indian Ocean. So they flew me off the ship and they flew me to Subic, and I stayed in Subic for like a month. There while they're processing me out. So I just, I spent a little bit of time here.
Now, I heard a rumor that the U.S. Navy was coming back to Subic. And I know that they opened up the shipbuilding place there again. I'm not sure if it's the military doing it or not, but I keep hearing rumors that because of the tensions between Philippines and China and America and China, that they were going to give that base back because they'd asked the Americans to leave, right? Isn't that what happened back in the 90s or something?
It was kind of strange. I forget
It
exactly
was a
what
falling
happened,
out
but
of some kind.
yeah, I know there was like a big giant. There was a volcano thing that messed up both Clark and Subic. You know, like
Oh, I
buried
didn't
the places in ash.
I didn't know that.
And then they were in negotiations. Like I don't know if they wanted more money or what was going on. But you know, after it got covered in ash, the Navy goes, oh, "Okay, you can have it. We're gone."
Oh, okay.
You know, there was some negotiations that weren't going well.
Never heard that story. So you leave the Navy, and did you decide then you wanted to live in the Philippines or come here, or is it just something you were thinking about, or?
Well, you can't make any money here, so
Yeah.
I was an electronic technician before I joined the Navy.
Okay.
Working for this big company. And so, like, when I joined the Navy, they were like required to preserve my job to where I could get it when I got out.
Oh, really?
So when I got out, I went back to work for them for another 5 years.
In California?
Yeah, in Chatsworth there.
Okay.
That's where, well, Paul says he's from Chatsworth, but I think he said...
I thought it was Las Vegas.
Yeah, he says Las Vegas, too.
Yeah.
Maybe when he was a kid, he was in Chatsworth or something.
It's like I lived in San Diego for a long time, but I moved away from there quite a while ago. But California's having a lot of problems now with the, with the virus and the fires and the homeless people. Like
bad government.
Government. I saw that like Venice Beach just covered with homeless people in L.A. Lots of homeless people in Skid Row, and it's getting worse and worse. So I'm kind of glad I'm here.
You know, when it got worse that I could see was when they had Mayor Antonio Villagrosa.
Okay.
And then he was the one that, like, the immigrants were having like a big giant protest.
Yeah.
And the police, they were throwing bottles and stuff at the police. So the police, declared it a riot and moved in on them and dispersed and everything. Mm-hmm. And the mayor, Antonio Villagrosa, he's all like, "Don't ever do that to my guys again." So at that point it is like, okay, free for all for anybody that wants to protest. The police can't do nothing.
Wow.
That was years and years ago.
We're not doing about the homeless people either,
and then the whole and now we have what we have now.
Yeah. That's a mess now from what I see. Yeah. So what made you decide
taxes are so high.
Yeah, it's true. Taxes. Oh, even gas is high there.
Yeah, higher. Yeah.
So did you finish your job, retire, or what happened?
Yeah, I retired. Yeah. Wow. But I started coming here before I retired. A couple of years before I retired.
Went for like vacations and just.
My dad lives over in Cebu.
Oh, really?
So, I come here and visit him, and then.
And how long has he been here?
About. I think he's been here about 15 years.
And is he married to a Filipino? Or?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they have 2 children, and they were in the United States for like 5 or 6 years.
Interesting.
And then they decided to move back here.
So that's kind of what
retired.
That's what got you thinking about living here, or?
No, like I said, I've been here in the Navy.
Yeah.
And then, well, I was married for 25 years.
Okay.
But then that ended. So
almost every guy says the same thing. That's usually what happened.
Yeah, that ended. So, my dad living here, and then I could visit him, and then you meet somebody really nice. And stuff, So how can you resist?
And so you're married now. Did you guys meet online, or how'd you meet?
No, she's related to my dad's wife.
Oh, okay.
So she introduced us. Yeah.
That's interesting.
So she's like my cousin.
Wow.
Gotta say that.
No, not
very,
really.
very far.
Yeah, very far removed.
Distant cousin.
Wow,
no blood or anything.
That's interesting. Like that. Well, father and son both living here. That's really interesting. I'd love to meet your father.
Yeah. Yeah. He's over there in Cebu.
And how old is he?
He's going on 80 now.
No kidding. Now, what was his profession?
Well, he was a mechanic for most of his life, and then after a while, he became a paramedic.
Oh.
For his last 10 years of his working career, he was a paramedic after that.
That's a really useful thing to know.
Yeah, he was like one of those dirty biker guys, for years and years, and then
Wow, what a character!
And mechanic, and then he got his Filipino wife and became a paramedic. Cleaned up, started washing, cut his hair, shaved his beard.
Long hair. Wow. Huh, wow. And so where did he meet his wife at?
He met his wife online, I believe. Yeah.
Wow, and 80, that must have been a while ago, though.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. How do you meet? It was like 20 years ago.
Well, it's the very beginning of the internet.
And
like
he had a wife for 7 years, a Filipino wife for 7 years before that one.
Oh, wow.
He must have been writing regular mail.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
And so, when was it you decided to actually move here and live in the Philippines?
Well, I was still working when I met her.
Okay.
For about 2 years.
Oh, so you had a long distance relationship.
A little bit, because I had a job where I could work 1 month and take a month off.
That's nice.
Go back, work a month, take a month off.
Wow.
So I was coming every month. I was coming for a month.
That's great.
So I was like renting a house there in Cebu, where she was staying there, and every month I would come back. It's really hard to get in. You got to adjust to the time changes.
Yeah, I bet. Now, has your wife ever been to America?
No.
Does she have a passport?
Yeah, we've been to Singapore and Thailand, and I guess that's the only other countries we've been to. And then all around the Philippines, travel around. We used to go scuba diving a lot.
Nice.
We'd pack up our scuba gear and go to Palawan or Subic, or even here. Like I told you that we went to Apple already, and that was like years ago.
And so you're both dive instructors.
Dive masters.
Dive masters, okay, dive masters. So, yeah, you don't meet too many Filipino women who are dive masters. I mean, do you train her? Or did she learn her? She knew when you met her? Or?
She, when I met her, she didn't know how to swim. And
Same with my girlfriend, yeah.
And then she was pretty far along on her scuba certifications before she ever did learn how to swim.
Really?
She's a brave girl. Imagine scuba diving down 100 feet and you don't even know how to swim yet.
I'll save that for later. I'll save that for last. Wow.
She's like, I don't need to know how to swim. I know how to go down.
Well, with scuba, you think about it, you really got to know how to sink.
Yeah,
you kind
of maintain your buoyancy there.
Yeah.
And she learned how to do that good.
Well, I think it's so important when you got, when you're involved with someone, you've got a shared interest like that, like scuba diving, something you can do together and really enjoy, especially here in the Philippines.
And I was so excited to see how cheap it was to scuba dive here and how beautiful it was,
I still haven't been yet.
Yeah, it's like we trained both of us for less than it would cost for one person in the United States, and faster,
So you got trained here too?
Well, I had my open water for years and years.
Yeah, me too.
From California. But, you go dive there, and it's like you got to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, get in the car, drive to the boat, You get to the boat about 6 o'clock, everybody starts loading up, and they're ready to go at 7, and then you spend 2 hours bouncing around in the water to get to your dive site, and then you dive and it's like water's like freezing and stuff like that. And then there's nothing to see,
Kelp and seals.
A couple of kelp and stuff. All that, just for nothing.
I never dove in California.
Yeah. And then you come here and it's just, beautiful paradise underwater. You don't even have to wear a wetsuit, It's a whole different, and so you're not like all weighted down because you don't have a wetsuit on or anything. Just completely different. So we just started diving, getting certifications, and
that's great.
We would be instructors, but man, it costs so much to maintain the license.
Yeah, but you can't really teach here anyway legally, can you? Because you're American. Yeah. You can?
Yeah, you can get a work permit for that.
Oh, you can?
There's lots of scuba instructors, foreign scuba instructors.
That's good.
The dive master, they're all Filipino.
Huh.
Yeah, they kind of frown on having foreigners as dive master, out working. But for scuba instructor, no problem.
Which is higher?
As far as instructor, is higher.
So interesting.
It's an easier job, and
I got to tell my students about that, and not my students, but also my subscribers. Because a lot of people ask me about that coming here, what they can do, and that's one thing. There's a lot of guys that dive, and so if you're a scuba instructor, you can actually come here.
Oh, dive.
Dive.
I thought you said dive.
Sorry, dive. That could.
We don't want to talk about that.
It could be a scuba instructor. That's interesting. Learn something every day.
Yeah.
And so, how long have you been here in this lovely house that you're in right now?
Since March, right We arrived here a week before they locked everything down.
At least you got a nice place to.
Yeah, that's. I was thinking. Thank God we have a nice place, you know,
Yeah.
a comfortable place to be locked down in for the next 6 months. You know?
So what are your plans like for the future? As far as like, do you think you like Negros Oriental? You think you'd like to be someplace else, or
Well, this right here in Valencia is really nice because it has, you know, all our comforts for foreigners and stuff like that. You know?
True, yeah.
You can go down to the store there and buy good beef. You go to.
I haven't found that yet.
You haven't found that? How about let's see. You got to go to Belcris.
Del Chris. Okay.
Belcris, yeah. And
Okay.
and
I heard about that place. I haven't been there yet.
yeah, they have edible steak.
Edible steak.
They have edible beef and
You
stuff.
only have to chew it.
Edible
for
food.
You have to chew it for 20 minutes.
And
I bought some steaks at Hypermart like a few months ago that were imported from Australia and frozen, and I think they were softer when they were frozen than when I cooked them.
Yeah, I got one from there. It tastes more like a cow patty than a steak, you know. It was perfectly round with no fat in there. We cooked it, man. It was just like shoe leather.
Yeah, I have not had any luck with beef at all in the Philippines. I stick to chicken and fish.
That's the real challenge.
Yeah. So, you say you've been actually living in the Philippines for 6 years, or how long?
Well, like I said, out of that 6 years,
Yeah, I see coming and
2
going.
years was you know, back and forth.
Right.
So
And so, do you see yourself spending the rest of your life here, or do you you have plans for the future? Or?
well, you know, I guess when I start having medical problems, I'll go to the U.S. You know, because you get better care in the U.S. or whatever. Maybe better care. It depends, you know. I guess if I was going to have heart surgery, I think I'd want it in the U.S. But like if you're just in the hospital, the nurses here are like way better, you know.
Yeah, I had quadruple bypass surgery about 8 years ago, but I had it in America, obviously. So,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah.
You know, I had a big cut on my leg, you know, and it was bleeding out, and I was in the hospital, and the Filipino nurses there, like, I'd go, I bleed it out, you know, and they'd come over and they'd clean my leg and stuff like that, right? And then I had this one nurse, and she was like an American nurse, and I go, it's bleeding out again. And she throws me a rag, you know. She's all like, clean it yourself.
Wow.
I'm like, oh, I hate you guys.
Now, what happened to you? How did you get hurt?
It was a car crash. Yeah.
Oh, no.
So
Was it your fault, or did somebody hit you, or did you get blamed for it, or?
they crashed me from the back.
Wow.
I was stopped, and I look in the mirror, and I'm like, they're gonna hit me, but there was somebody in front of me, so I couldn't move. You know, we were stopped.
Was it another car that hit you, or?
There was a truck that hit my little car, a pickup truck. You know,
Oh, no.
and
Now, so how did that work? Like, because I've heard that when a foreigner has an accident in the Philippines, doesn't matter.
oh no, this was in the United States.
Oh, so in the United States. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. The American nurse came in.
Got it. Okay, I got it. Okay. All right.
There ain't no
So,
American nurses here.
yeah. Now, have you had any close calls riding your motorcycle, your truck around here?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, like I just had my truck. I took it down to the body shop down there during lockdown.
Yeah.
Thanks. I got a dry throat.
No, drink some more.
I'm not used to talking so much. Let's see. Yeah, I just took my truck to the body shop about a month ago. But like driving around Cebu,
Yeah.
when I bought the truck, it was used, but the body was in perfect condition. But after about like a year of driving around Cebu, I had crashes on every single corner of the truck.
People run into you?
Yeah. Mostly the big trucks, man. They're like, I'm coming over, you know.
And they don't stop to pay for it? You get their no insurance?
No, they don't stop or nothing. They
Just
don't
keep
care.
going.
Yeah.
Huh.
And they're just like that. It's like, yeah, it's time for me to come over, you know.
Because I've had people
Find
tell
your
me,
own way out.
I've had people tell me if you have an accident in the Philippines, you're a foreigner.
Your fault.
It's your fault. Yeah.
Yeah, I had an incident in Mobile there where there was like a blind corner.
Yeah.
And I'm in my truck, and there's this motorcycle coming in, and he kind of panicked when he saw me at the corner, and he laid it down, right? He didn't hit my truck at all. I didn't touch him. But I did stop and go, are you okay? You know, and stuff like that. And he was all like, it's your fault, you know, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, and then all of a sudden there's like 20, you know, the local guys standing around, you know, and then he's all like, you hit me, and my wife, she's got a concussion, she hit her head, and all this stuff. And I reach in the truck and I pull out the dash cam. I go, that's not what the dash cam shows. And he's all like, you know.
Wow.
And he's only got like a little tiny scratch on his arm, you know, and his wife's got like a little tiny scratch on her knee, you know. And he's like, I can't drive, I got to go to the hospital, you know.
So he's trying to cash in on you. Wow.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's a good job. You had the camera, did you?
Yeah.
Huh.
Actually, it wasn't working, but I just showed him the camera.
Oh wow! You bluffed him out.
But I did take him. You know, 'cause there's, you know, the whole neighborhood was standing around by then.
Yeah.
You know, so I took him to the hospital, and somebody else took their motorcycle to their house.
But you didn't pay any money.
No, I didn't pay any money or anything. But I did. Oh, actually, I bought. After the hospital, we took him to the pharmacy and got their prescriptions and stuff. I did pay for that.
But it wasn't your fault.
Well, like I said, he just kind of panicked when he saw me coming around the corner and laid it down. You know?
Oh, I see. Oh, I get it. Okay.
Yeah. And he didn't, at no time did his motorcycle touch my truck, you know, so.
A nice guy that you did that for him.
Well,
That's, you know.
I really didn't have a
tried to-
choice. I didn't have a choice with 20 of the neighbors standing around. And it was in the neighborhood where I lived.
No, you did the right thing.
And
You did
even the people that I had been friends with in that neighborhood,
Yeah.
they were on his side.
Oh, of course.
You know? It was like,
Wow.
hey, you know, I was trying to tell them my side. They wouldn't even listen to me. They're all like, are you okay, cuz, you know, brother?
Well, and you hear things, so you're rich, you can afford it, you know, and they just think you're young. Everybody's a cash cow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I've had quite a few close calls too, but nothing bad yet.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. Gotta always.
Did you have a driver's license? Philippine driver's license?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I got it before they started that rule where I guess it's difficult to get now.
They keep changing it. One, you had to be here for a year, but then you had to have it within 6 months, even though you can't. You have to live here a year. Like, oh.
Yeah, I got it before all of that garbage came out.
Yeah. I know some people that got a fixer and did it, you know. And they,
Yeah, you could do that too.
I went down, paid $100, walked right in and said, "Here's your license."
$100, huh? Not just
100
20.
US. No, 100 US. Yeah, 5,000 pesos.
They got ripped off there.
Yeah,
I think that's too much.
and it wasn't your local.
1,000 should take
Yeah, they had to
care of
go far away to get it too. So nobody's ever asked me for a driver's license, so I'm just going to keep using my American one, you know, for now.
Really? I've only showed it. Well, I got some tickets in Cebu there, but I only like at a roadblock. I only showed it one time.
Yeah, they don't have cops pulling you over here. It's always just roadblocks, you know.
Yeah. Well, I did. I did a couple of things there. I ran through a red light, I guess, and
Do they actually have red lights?
well, actually, that was the problem. This red light was just put there like the day before or something like that. So I didn't even look at it. I've been driving down this road every day, you know, and they just turned on the red light, and so I ran it. I didn't know it was there.
Wow.
And then another thing, I made a U-turn in front of LTO office, and there happened to be guys standing there. Come here. I'm like, why can't I make a U-turn here? It's like 4 lanes. There's nobody around, you know. He's like, illegal U-turn, you know. It's 500 pesos.
Yeah, one of the cops told my friend. He said, "Well, if they tell you to come over, just keep driving."
Yeah,
That's what the cops said.
I've done that.
I act like the dumb American now. I don't even look. I never have eye contact with those guys. You go by, I just keep right on going slowly. You know?
One guy tried to get me on a day I didn't feel like paying, and I took off, or I kept going too. You know, he was trying to get me making a left-hand turn at that same intersection where I got the red light ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tried to say I was out of the lane or something like that. He was standing there looking for people going out of the lane.
Yeah, I've seen him do that. Yeah. You know, down at Hypermart, I've seen him doing that.
And he's all like, "Come here," and I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I don't feel like dealing with you today.
That's funny. Well, I'm going to end this as part 1 because we're getting past 20 minutes. If it's okay, we do a second part here. This is the end of part